And to all of us in many ways, it holds a very special place in my heart. When Her Ladyship was the chairperson of the Federation of Women Lawyers Kenya, she personally interviewed me. Opportunity to set up the coast branch of FIDA Kenya in Mombasa. And her guidance and support during my tenure at FIDA was very instrumental in my success at the organization, and I dare say it is her molding hands that partly launched me onto the career trajectory that has led me to this podium today. And as fate would have it, I found myself on the other side of the interview room 18 years later when she was interviewed by the Judicial Service Commission for the position of Chief Justice. And thankfully, I was only in the room as Secretary to the Commission. Chief Justice Martha Koome, your mentorship has opened doors to hundreds more. Your work in the women's rights movement and in the child rights advocacy expanded the democratic and civic space for countless Kenyan women and children. Indeed, your assumption of office of Chief Justice today is the befitting next step in your illustrious career, and I'm confident that you will use this office to do much more for the administration of justice to all in Kenya and beyond. I look forward to working and learning under your guidance once again. Your leadership will be the third Chief Justice that I've had the privilege to serve under, after Chief Justice Dr. Willie Mutunga and Chief Justice David Maraga, who is with us this morning. Chief Justice, I'm happy to see you. I would like to acknowledge them and their respective contributions to the judiciary. I've also learned a great deal during the period Her Ladyship, the Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mbete Mwilu, served as the head of the judiciary in acting capacity. It is my hope that their respective contributions and sacrificial service will be duly acknowledged when the history of this nation is written. I wish to acknowledge all for their contributions they've made even to my personal and professional growth. Your Ladyship, you're coming to head an institution that is in dire need of resources due to years of gross underfunding. The impact of this shortfall is felt in the services that we're able to offer to the people of Kenya. Our annual budgetary allocation averages less than 1% of the approved national budget, which is often subjected to further cuts as the financial year progresses, leaving us with near nothing for development of our facilities. Additionally, the Judiciary Fund, which should have been operationalized by now, remains outstanding. The funding gap is most pronounced in our development budget, and this has greatly affected our plans to bring services closer to the people. Our automation strategy has also been greatly affected by inadequate funding, a matter of particular concern, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, when automation and technology is at the center of our services. We acknowledge with tremendous gratitude the support from partners who have come in to fill the funding gap. We have made some progress with the legislature and the executive in terms of discussing the way forward, and I'm delighted to see the speakers of the House here. I hope that we can count on their support as we continue with these discussions. On my part, Honorable Chief Justice, I pledge the support of my office, supported by the registrars, directors, staff, as you settle into your office, to ensure the successful implementation of your vision and agenda. Once again, congratulations, Chief Justice, on your appointment and assumption of office. Welcome, everybody. May God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Chief Registrar, for that opening statement. Before we go into the next session, which will be run by the Directorate of Public Affairs. Let me also mention that we also have a newly minted Judge of the Supreme Court, Justice William Ouko. Welcome, Judge, who was also sworn in on Friday, together with the Chief Justice. Justice Ouko, I think, besides you and Chief Justice, the other happiest person in this room, I think, is Justice Lenaola. Because whenever the judges are ready to go to court after conferencing, of course, the junior most judge takes the front line because he has to sit at the extreme right or left. So Justice Lenaola, whenever Justice Maraga used to call him to order, Justice Lenaola, we are ready to go, he would quickly say, yes, Chief Justice, I know my place in society. I think you've taken over from him, so he's very happy. So welcome, Judge. Chief Registrar said that it's the first time we are having a female Chief Justice, which is historic and which is a good thing. And I was looking up at the data, and I was actually surprised that at least 22 other African countries have had female or women Chief Justices before. 4 of them, Ghana, Burundi, Niger, and Zambia, have actually had 2 female Chief Justices. The first one in Africa was in 1993 in Benin. So as a country, we celebrate this, but we are coming too late in the game. But we've begun nonetheless. There are epochs in the history of any institution. I think when we first appointed, the first Kenyan who was appointed Chief Justice in 1971 was Justice Kitili Mwendwa at the age of 37. That was an important milestone. I think the appointment of Chief Justice Zacchaeus Chesoni, again after a long period of non-Kenyans, non-black Kenyans serving as CJ, was also an important milestone. I think this appointment of Chief Justice Martha Koome is one of those important milestones and an important marker, I think, in the history of this institution. I'm confident, Chief Justice, that you recognize the burden of history and you'll be able to deliver on that mission and that burden successfully. Wish you all the best. Let me now invite Wamboi, Catherine of Deepak, to show us a brief photo biography of the Chief Justice, Martha Koome. Sise.
If someone had told me someday that in my long life I would have the opportunity to welcome the first Chief Justice that was a lady, probably I would have debated. But now, the opportunity for debate is taken away from me.
And we all feel we are judges because you are one of us. So we are proud of you and we thank God for you. May God help you, give you energy and give you truth within yourself.
Lady Justice Martha Karambu Koome was sworn in as the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and President of the Supreme Court on 21st of May 2021. She is an experienced jurist with over 33 years in the legal profession in both public and private sectors. Judge is a staunch human rights defender who provided pro bono legal representation to economically disadvantaged clients in areas of human rights abuse, women and children's rights. She also represented political detainees and persons accused of politically instigated offenses during the volatile one-party rule in Kenya. Judge was a delegate at the Ufungamano House in Bomas of Kenya, contributing to the enactment of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. She has actively participated in the clamor for the independence of the judiciary. Judge Koome was elected as chairperson of Federation of Kenya Women Lawyers FIDA in 1997. She joined the judiciary in 2003 as a High Court judge. She has served in the Family Division of the High Court at Milimani, the Nakuru Law Courts, Milimani Commercial Court, Kitale Law Courts, and the Land and Environment Division. She was promoted to Judge of Appeal in 2012 after Nairobi Station and later moved to the devolved Court of Appeal in Nyeri. Together with Judge Visram and the late Judge Odek, they cleared case backlog to the point of real-time filing and hearing of cases. She has served as the chair of the Kenya Judges and Magistrates Association and also as the chair of the National Council on Administration of Justice Special Task Force on Children's Matters, where she is the champion of children's rights. She has developed and launched the NCAJ Status Report on Children in the Justice System, which is pivotal in the drafting of the Children's Bill. She has won the FIDA Award for Exemplary Leadership in 2010 and the UN Kenya Person of the Year runner-up 2020 in recognition for her advocacy for the rights of children in conflict with the law. Lady Justice Martha Karambu Koome, the third Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya under the Constitution 2010.
Thank you very much, Deepak. I just mentioned before I Chief Registrar that we have amongst the first lady magistrate, first lady judge in this city. Welcome, Judge. I also have the first in that nation, Justice Joyce Lodge. These two were the trailblazers for women in the judiciary, and you paid a very healthy down payment. Today is your dividend, Chief Registrar.
Thank you very much, Duncan. May I now call upon the Interim Vice Chair of the Judicial Service Commission, Professor Olive Mugenda, to make a few remarks. Professor, please.
Allow me to acknowledge those who are here. Bear with me because of the list, but I think it's important that we acknowledge those who took time to come here. Honorable Lady Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya and Chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission. Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Bete-Mwilu, Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court of Kenya. Honorable Justin Muturi, Speaker of the National Assembly. Honorable Kenneth Lusaka, Speaker of the Senate. Honorable Retired Chief Justice David Maraga. Honorable Retired Chief Justice Dr. Mutunga. Honorable Retired Chief Justice Bernard Chuga. Honorable Cabinet Secretaries, Chief Administrative Secretaries and Principal Secretaries. Honorable Governors who are here. Honorable Commissioners of the Judicial Service Commission. Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court. Honorable Judges of the Court of Appeal. Honorable Judges of the High Court and Courts of the Equal Status. Honorable Retired Judges. Honorable Anne Amadi, our Chief Registrar of the Judiciary. Director of Public Prosecution, Inspector General of Police, the Commissioners, the Commissioner General of Prisons, Your Excellency, the Ambassadors and High Commissioners, RSK President and Senior Counsel, Honorable Registrars and Magistrates who are here, Judiciary Directors and staff, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a pleasure to join you in this historic moment to stand witness as Honorable the Justice Martha Koome assumes office as the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya. When I addressed the general public from this tent a few weeks ago, I wore the hat of interim vice chair of the commission who chaired the recruitment panel that gave us the new Chief Justice who assumes office today. The JSC had ample opportunities to speak about the recruitment process during that period, except that we have never gotten the opportunity to speak directly to the agencies represented here and thank them for their support during the recruitment exercise. Perhaps the only other thing left to say is that my fellow commissioners and I are immensely honored, privileged, and grateful to have had the opportunity to participate in this historic selection of Kenya's 15th and first female Chief Justice. With the oath that was administered last Friday and today's ceremony, the recruitment process is now firmly behind us, so I'm addressing you today simply as a member of the commission now chaired by her leadership, the Chief Justice, who is henceforth the official spokesperson of the JSC. This shift in my role signifies the uniqueness in the design of the Judicial Service Commission. Ours is the only constitutional commission whose members recruit its chairperson, then transition to work under his or her leadership on a day-to-day basis. Under our constitutional framework, whoever is recruited by the JSC as the Chief Justice serves both as the head of the judiciary and the chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission. This explains why, shortly after we handed the Chief Justice to the judiciary on the steps of this building on Friday last week, we headed out to a luncheon during which we welcomed the Justice Koome into the Judicial Service Commission, in a sense, handing her to ourselves. Whether by design or by default, the recruitment by the Commission gives the JSC early insights into the vision of an incoming Chief Justice and paves the way for the Commissioners and the new Chief Justice to find a common ground upon taking office. We enjoyed our conversation during the interview with Honorable Justice Koome, and we did this with other candidates, some of who are here today. It was abundantly clear from our discussions that there's a lot that calls for the immediate attention of the Commission and the Chief Justice. In this regard, we are grateful that the steps following the JSC nomination of her leadership for the office of the Chief Justice were conducted fairly quickly. And today's ceremony now sets the stage for her to commence the implementation of her vision for the judiciary. As Supreme Court judges receive their new president, and as judiciary employees receive their new head of the institution, my fellow commissioners and I are equally excited to welcome a new chairperson whose wisdom and guidance will be invaluable at this critical point in the functioning of our interlinked institutions. Your leadership are among the issues that will call for your immediate attention is the pending appointment of 40 of the 41 individuals the Commission nominated for various judicial offices in June and July 2019. It is nearly 2 years since those nominations were made, and it is extremely regrettable that one of the nominees lost his life before he got his chance to serve the people of Kenya. I was present at the State House on Friday last week when His Excellency the President pledged his support to your office, Your Honor, and I hope you explore all avenues to bring the recruitment to its conclusion so that people of Kenya can benefit from the much needed manpower in the Employment and Labor Relations Court, the Environment and Land Court, and in the Court of Appeal, which now has only 13 judges following your appointment and that of Honorable Justice William Ouko to the Supreme Court. Your leadership, we also hope for your leadership and input in resolving the challenges faced by the Judicial Training Institute. The 13-year-old tenancy of JTI and the Post Bank facility in Bodega North has now lapsed by dint of change of ownership of that facility. And one of the challenges is to find a new facilities, preferably on a permanent basis, Your Honor, which would be cheaper in the long run instead of the current model of securing training spaces commercially. In the meantime, the JSC remains on hand to offer the policy direction and any other support you may require to us mainstreaming technology in the administration of justice. Ladies and gentlemen, most of the challenges we face today are due to the limited funding that the judiciary and the JSC receive from Parliament, as Honorable Amandi has said. Increased funding will address most of these challenges and enable the judiciary and the JSC to meet their constitutional obligations. Adequate funding is an imperative given that the judiciary holds the key to the success of the rule of law, whose reconstruction began in earnest in 2010. As the custodians of the Constitution, the Office of the Chief Justice and the Judicial Service Commission occupy a more special place in this endeavor. They are key pillars in safeguarding the independence of the courts to ensure the judiciary plays its part in safeguarding the rule of law. Your leadership, dealing with these challenges will require unity of purpose within the Commission. Fortunately, each of us in the Commission remain committed to the cause of securing the independence of the judiciary and are ready to march on under your able leadership. I'm confident that we will turn these challenges into moments of victory if we work together, drawing on our unique strengths. In ending, I would like to remind all of us that the recruitment of judges is open and competitive. The ladies and gentlemen that present themselves for these interviews summon extraordinary courage and expend considerable intellectual energy in their subsequent work. It is vital, therefore, that we accord them their due respect even when we disagree with the decisions that they make of their duties and appeal those decisions that may be unfavorable. The JSC loses cases also before the very judges it recommends for recruitment and discipline, and JSC also appeals when necessary. That is what the rule of law requires, and we are all under obligation to respect it. With those remarks, ladies and gentlemen, kindly join me once again in congratulating Honorable Lady Justice Koome on her assumption of office and in wishing her every success during her tenure.
Thank you very much, Professor Mugenda. Our next address is by the Honorable the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Justice Philomena Mbetemwilu. She will give us her address and then hand over the instruments of power. Remember, when the Chief Justice Maraga left, he handed over power to the Deputy Chief Justice, and she'll be handing that power to our new Chief Justice. It's my humble duty now to ask the Honorable the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, Philomena Mbetemwilu, to address us. Deputy Chief Justice, please.
Your Ladyship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, who is also the President of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Lady Justice Martha Karambu Koome, please allow me to adopt the long protocol that was well laid out by the MC Duncan Okello, Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, in the name of the Almighty God, who on Monday, the 11th of January 2021, enabled me to stand just a few steps from where I currently stand in these exact robes to, in my name, say a few words, as I was handed over the instruments of power to be the temporary team leader of the institution of the Judiciary of Kenya, and in the name of the same Almighty God, I now stand here, some 134 very long days thereafter, to give thanks to the same God for what He has done with me and with the institution of the Judiciary of Kenya during that period. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for your great mercies upon me. When I took oath of office on Friday, the 28th day of October 2016, as Kenya's Deputy Chief Justice, I thanked my God most profusely for granting me such a rare privilege and opportunity to serve His people in such a high office, for there is only one Deputy Chief Justice at a time. A fact that further shook me to the reality of the honor bestowed upon me, accompanied with and by the solemn responsibilities of the office. And I knew then that whatever I did henceforth had to be for the glory of God, and always listening keenly to His voice and direction, because how else was I to thank Him for loving me so very much? He had placed me in the highest office that I personally prayed for, and that is all I ever needed. But what did I know? God was not yet done with me, not yet. And so on Monday, the 11th day of January 2021, when Emeritus Chief Justice David Kenani Maraga retired, it fell upon me, by mere operation of the law, to assume the office of Chief Justice, albeit in an acting capacity. I had earlier on Friday, the 11th day of December 2020, taken on the discharge of the duties of the office of Chief Justice when Emeritus Chief Justice Maraga proceeded on his terminal leave. It has been the highest honor of my professional life to serve as the acting Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya for some 162 days between the 11th of December 2020 and the 21st May 2021, around about 1 o'clock, maybe some 18 minutes thereafter, when our Chief Justice took oath of office. It is a role I took most seriously. I took it most seriously in order to ensure, preserve, uphold the dignity and the respect for the judiciary and the judicial system, and promote fairness, independence, competence, and integrity within it. In humility, I stand here today and state categorically that we have tried to hold the institution of the judiciary together during that period of 162 days. I had excellent support of the judiciary leadership team, whom I consulted on a need basis. Judges and judicial officers and judiciary staff knew what was expected of them, and they did their part. I'm glad to report that on very few occasions was I called upon to remind a few of us to stay on the straight and narrow. And so I stand here and take this opportunity to thank the entire judiciary family for remembering that they are here to serve the people of Kenya, and they did so well during my tenure as temporary Chief Justice. The temporariness of tenure notwithstanding. You people knew that you were here to serve the people of Kenya and took it as a solemn duty, and not because you were watched over by some Chief Justice, substantive or temporary. I thank you. If we failed in any way, Chief Justice, it was not for lack of giving it our very best. We tried to do the right thing. Those of us in the judiciary family who might have felt pushed, let me let you know this, that it was all in the line of duty and not personal. It was so as to get the best out of each of us and to make us earn our keep. In the event that there be anything at all, for which I need your forgiveness, please, I beg it now. It was a difficult time. What with this unrelenting health pandemic that is COVID-19, we were closing courts all over the place to physical hearings. That we did in a bid to preserve the health and save the lives of both members of the judiciary family and our clients and stakeholders. Unfortunately, we still lost quite a number of us to the pandemic. All the while, and despite closures of physical hearings, we were able to exercise and execute the solemn duty in the administration of justice, albeit virtually. Chief Justice, I present a number of important reports to you. Upon his retirement, Chief Justice Emeritus David Kenani Maraga submitted a status report which provides a brief on general status of the judiciary as he left it on the 11th of January 2021. That report highlights the activities, achievements, and successes in the implementation of the Sustaining Judiciary Transformation Framework during his tenure. Importantly, it highlights the challenges and factors that affected the full achievement of the SJT goals and objectives. It also provides some recommendations and issues for consideration by you, Chief Justice. Chief Justice, I present to you a status report on the implementation of judiciary programs and activities as at May 2021, when I ceased being the acting Chief Justice. This report provides a quick reference for your leadership, Chief Justice, on the mandates and activities of the implementing units across the judiciary, the planned and ongoing activities and projects, the challenges currently obtaining for each unit, and how, in the short term, we propose to enhance and improve our operations and service delivery. Chief Justice, I have heard it said that you will find a full entry. Allow me to assure you that entry is made lighter by the strong foundation that Chief Justice Emeritus Dr. Willie Munyoki Mutunga laid for you and for us in the JTF. It is made even much lighter by the great sustainability and enhancement of the JTF by Chief Justice Maraga's SJT. It's made even lighter by the Judiciary Strategic Plan 2019-2023, our State of the Judiciary reports, our interim midwifery during the interim period, among many others. We hope that you will find this as useful resource in drafting your own vision, Chief Justice. That is not to say, though, that this space is easy to be in. It is not. I discovered that in the short period I sat there, but you have God to turn to, if God be your concern. I did, and we succeeded. I have to say it for ourselves. The interviews are over, Chief Justice. At the interviews, you were judged by a mere 9 commissioners of the Judicial Service Commission. From today going forward, the whole 50 million plus Kenyans will be on your case. Fairly, and most times unfairly. We Kenyans can get quite harsh in judgment. However, that is to be expected. We shall call for our pound of flesh. We will hold you to the rule of law. We will hold you to constitutionalism, that which flows only out of our great 2010 Constitution. Accountability and much, much, much more. That is the least we are allowed to do by our Constitution 2010. Today, henceforth, Chief Justice, the rubber meets the road. Back up and lead us. We are behind you in doing the right thing. Chief Justice, I have these witnesses when I pledge my unqualified support for you if ever you will need it. I shall undertake all legitimate and lawful assignments that you might assign me. More importantly, I shall strictly stay on my constitutional lane. I shall help you to do the right thing if you require me to assist you. And no doubt I speak for the entire judiciary, or at the very worst, the majority of us, in stating that we shall give you support as you may require it. I refuse to engender the important office of Chief Justice. You are just Chief Justice now. Forget about being a woman. Justice is neither male nor female. If anything, it could very well be transgender. And so, welcome Chief Justice Martha Karambo Koome to the helm of the Kenya Judiciary. I refuse to tell you how to do your work. That is yours to decide. But the Constitution of Kenya 2010 is your roadmap, and hopefully you will make it your true north at all times. It is your Judiciary Chief Justice, ni wewe kusema. I am privileged to welcome you, my brother, Mr. Justice William Oko Okello, to the Kenya's Apex Court. No doubt you will give it your all. Thank you all for having answered our invitation and joining us on this very important day. Here I'm not being original. You have food in your houses, I have no doubt about that. You have things to do. But you came so that we could do this together here today. Thank you, the many Kenyans who have called me personally, sent me messages of appreciation and support to thank me and congratulate us for what we have done during our temporary occupancy. Thank you, Kenya. The health pandemic is still here. Let us stay alive by sanitizing, washing those hands, keeping that safe distance, as we have already been advised. I pray that God bless you, Chief Justice Martha Karambu Koome, you, Judge of the Supreme Court, Judge Ouko, and I, the Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mbetemwilu, and the rest of us here present, and the entire judiciary family in the greatest of all countries, our beloved Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. I would like us, if you would take this final order from me, to please stand up. Put our hands together in thanksgiving to God for enabling the wish of Chief Justice Martha Karambu Koome to come to fruition, and for welcoming Chief Justice Martha Karambu Koome to the judiciary of Kenya on this 24th day of May 2021. Thank you very much. You may now be seated.
May I ask the Honorable, the Deputy Chief Justice, to come back and prepare to hand over the instruments of power alongside the reports on the state of the judiciary.
Yes, the first to be handed over is the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya 2010, which the Deputy Chief Justice is handing over. As we've always said, this is one of the 3 original copies of the Constitution that was signed by President Mwai Kibaki during the promulgation of the Constitution. So, Constitution of Kenya 2010, which, as the DCJ has indicated, will be the CJ's true north in discharging her functions. Thank you. The second instrument to be handed over is the Judiciary Flag, which has green and gold in it. That is the Judiciary Flag. Let's give a round of applause. The next is a report of the Chief Justice on the state of the judiciary as of May. This is the report that the retired CJ David Maraga presented to the acting CJ then on the state of the judiciary as of January 2021 when he retired. The last one is the state of the judiciary as of 24th May 2021, prepared by the acting Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice, Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu. So you can see that the leadership of the judiciary is highly accountable in terms of its performance. You can resume your seats.
Thank you. Once again, it's my honor and privilege to ask that we all be upstanding and welcome our Chief Justice, Mother Karambu Koome, to speak to us. Chief Justice, Mother Karambu Koome.
Thank you very much, my sister, Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu. Please, may we take our seats? Thank you very much for welcoming me and for organizing this beautiful function, the Assumption of Office ceremony. Thank you, everyone, distinguished guests, for coming. Allow me to adopt also the protocols that have been read out very properly by those who have spoken before me. I recognize each one of you for coming, and if I had time, I would actually mention each one of you by name to thank you personally for coming. It is indeed an awesome honor for me to assume this office, and now that the instruments of power have been given to me, I think they go with a little discretion that I intend to exercise and recognize Lady Justice F.A. Owo, who was the first magistrate to walk in these corridors, the first female High Court judge when there was not even a toilet for a lady in the judiciary because they were not expected to work in the judiciary, and the first woman Court of Appeal judge to come here and say something to us. Welcome, my sister. Sometimes I call her my mother because it was through her that we knew it was possible for us to dream to be judges and to continue dreaming. Welcome.
Wow.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing? And you say this is not a great day for Kenya? Let me know what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies. What Kenya has tried to do for many times, for a long time, minding the girl child, can be seen on this stage here. It's now time to worry about the boy child, not girl child anymore. Your Ladyship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Okello mentioned everybody. There's no way in which I can go through that. There are a few whom I can see as they're familiar, but there are others whom I can't see and I won't recognize. Good people, today is a great day for us. I've been given a few minutes to say something. I'm just going to talk very, very briefly about the change that has been in this institution since about half a century ago when I walked into here as a magistrate and I found a very formidable woman called Kamala Madan, the daughter of one of our Chief Justices, and I found a Mrs. Maini. Mrs. Maini was the wife of one of the advocates, I remember. That was half a century ago. I couldn't dare come on this side because we didn't come through this side. We went through that side because this side was the Chief Justice side and the judge's entrance. It's been a long time coming. Exactly 40 years ago, I walked and I found Justice Simpson standing outside there. He had already done the swearing at the State House and he was waiting for me to come in. That was a great day, exactly 40 days ago. You understand why I feel the way I do. That I did not realize that within my 78 years, soon 78, that I would be able to come here and speak about a woman Chief Justice. No. It's not going to be a woman Chief Justice again. And speak about my sister, who is now leading a third arm of the Kenya government. Your Ladyship, congratulations from all the women of Kenya. Those who have the mouth to speak, those who don't have the mouth to speak. I'm speaking for them because I know from where we have come from. When I entered here, there were so many complications. As the Chief Justice mentioned, even where to go and powder my nose was a big problem. The male judges told me that I can't go to where they go to because we do everything else differently. So I said, okay. I'll go to the Hilton every day to do it and then I come back. The Chief Justice himself had to give up his toilet to make peace between me and the male judges. It worked. That didn't stop there. Then they said, now what are we going to call her anyway? So it became a debate. And somebody was told to write a brief and tell us what I should be called. Others were saying I should just be called Mrs. Judge. Others said, no, let's add on Lady Justice. Others said, no. So anyway, we had the Lady Justice put on it. But then the naughty advocates who would come to court every morning, they would say, oh, my lady. So I would say, no, I'm not your lady. I could offend somebody if you called me that. That is how far we have come from. Good people, it wasn't easy. It was not easy breaking into this place and having recognized that there had to be a change. That change has now amalgamated into
a situation where society has become so acceptable to women, and out there as we are on the streets, people are saying women can do it. The Chief Justice, we are saying only one thing to you, that Kenyans have not misplaced their trust. The President of this republic, I heard him saying, because I watched each and everything that has gone on with her, I heard him saying that he was honored to be the first Kenyan president to appoint a woman Chief Justice. Chief Justice, we know you as a jurist. We know you as a mother. We know you as a wife. We know you as a judge. And we know you as a brother, a sister to all these judges and everybody else. We know that this country has given power to not only a jurist, but a very balanced person, a friendly person, a prayerful woman, an administrator. We saw you in court arguing cases. We know that you can be tough. We know that you have stance. We know that you stand on principle. We are wishing that will go on. After your 10 years of service to Kenya, we are sure we Kenyans, I hope I'll be there, we shall be left saying, thank you. What we got, she was a gift to this republic. Martha, forgive me for calling you that, because I've rang you so many times in my life. I began ringing her and calling her Martha when we were doing the children's law. She was there. She went to meetings. She organized things. She got the law done and eventually handed over a report to be given to now the minister, Rachel Mamo, who eventually with others put down that law and put it together, and we had a law that meant a lot to children. Then came the Women's Task Force, and it was always every morning, Martha, can you tell the feeder to do this? Martha, can you tell the advocates to do this? Martha, can you go to Honorable Martha Karua, the minister, and ask her to do this and this? And she went and she did. I would be there shouting things have not been done. And Justice Aluoch, my sister, would say, calm down. I'll call Martha and we shall find out what should be done. That is how that big report of the Women's Task Force came out, and which had made all the difference to us. So many bills came out of that, and gender sensitivity, gender equality became a reality in our country. We are not saying, and you have no time for that, but we know anytime anything comes to you which needs to you to attend to us as women, you will do it willingly. Good people, if you give me a chance, I'll be here until tomorrow morning. So, but I'm telling you, we will be out there, women, doing Mwanawamberi in our own time. But this, we leave all these official things because they are too much for us. Just, Martha, you have come to a situation where there have been so many changes. They have become inclusive. The society has become more responsive to all our needs. And we are saying, thank you as you take this position now. We are with you, and we are going to make sure that where you need us, you will not fail. In 10 years, we shall say hallelujah. All the women, just stand up. Female judges, everybody, stand up and let's just wait. No, only women. Men, sit down. You see how we are? The whole room. The men in Kenya, poor you. You better work harder.
Thank you very much, my sister. our trailblazer, Honorable the Justice F.A. Owo, for those very kind words. We are so honored to have all of you. I see many council represented here, and they have even honored us wearing their robes, led by their distinguished, the President of the Law Society. I recognize you in a very special way. I am going to ask the senior most counsel present here, who is also the chairman of the Senior Bar Council, to come forward and say something on behalf of all the council who are represented here, by those who are here and those who are not here. Mr. Friend Ojiambo, please can you come and say something on behalf of the lawyers of this country?
May it please you, Chief Justice, the Honorable Lady Justice Martha Karambo Koome, my lords, my ladies, justices of the courts here represented, all men and all women of goodwill here. My ladies, my joy and privilege to stand here and to speak on behalf of the legal profession, and particularly the senior bar, and to welcome you to the office of Chief Justice. So much has been said about women, and particularly a woman taking up this position for the first time in this country. So I won't say much about that. What I can say is that we are deeply privileged to have you here. Not because you're a woman, Chief Justice, but because we know you as an extremely gifted, very principled in what you do and say. And this has been your constant right throughout the time we have known you as a lawyer. We look forward to a time when the judiciary will be changed, not because it needs to change, but because there is always room for change. And we know that you have the ability and the commitment to do that change. From our senior bar, we pledge our commitment to support you in doing what you have always done. That is the interest. So we commit you, we'll be there with you, we'll support you, we'll walk with you. We will give advice where it's needed, but you can be absolutely certain that the senior bar and the legal profession will be with you all the way. We congratulate you. We ask that you may be blessed in this work. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that pledge of support. Indeed, we will continue to work together. The Law Society, the legal profession is a key stakeholder to the judiciary. And now we pledged to work with everybody, because we say justice is like a chain link. I recognize our leaders who are present here, the members of Parliament, represented by the Honorable Speaker of the Senate, the Honorable Mr. Ken Lusaka, and you will allow me also to give him 5 minutes to say something so that we can leave to our pledge that you are also our stakeholders. Please come forward and say something.
Thank you, our Chief Justice. All protocols observed. On behalf of my brother, Speaker of the National Assembly, you know he has a new title, he's an elder. I want to take this earliest opportunity to congratulate you for this well-deserved achievement. Just like the rest have said, we are proud that as a country, for the first time, we are having a first Lady Chief Justice, and you are equal to the task. If you read 1 Corinthians 10:13, it says, God won't give you a task that you are not able to perform. I believe that God has given you this task, and you are not an accident. You are the choice of God, and you are going to lift this country. That the judiciary will remain being strong and independent, because that is where all of us go when things are not working. And as Parliament, we have been great beneficiaries of the judiciary, and I want to pledge that we will continue working together, we will support you and remain firm. An independent judiciary guarantees democracy, and we know that you will do that, so I don't want to say much. Speakers, we speak little. We just give orders when things are not working, but you definitely need prayers. I know, ask me, it has also not been very easy for me, but I've put God first and things have worked for me. May God bless you as you continue leading this great nation. Thank you.
Thank you for that assurance that we'll continue to work together and we'll continue to look up to God in all the things that we do. Indeed, we serve in the vineyard of God. I recognize our cabinet secretaries, our governor, and even our MP is present here. My MP, the Honorable Rahim Dawood, who has walked this journey with me. And it was very nice to walk with him because people wondered, how do Meros look like? We have diversity in Meru. And now I'm going to ask the executive also to say something because we are going to work with them. This country belongs to all of us, and everybody is owning a part of the chain link. And now I'm going to ask the Honorable the Attorney General, who is also the titular end of the bar, to come and speak on behalf of the executive. Just 5 minutes to say something.
The Honorable, the Chief Justice, Lady Justice Martha Koome, I did not anticipate that you would call upon me because I had the privilege of addressing a similar but smaller gathering this last Friday at the luncheon that was hosted in your honor. And I'm deeply, deeply touched. Yes, indeed, there are colleagues here. The CAPSEC Public Service, CAPSEC Labour are here. And forgive me if there is any other one that I have missed out. I will not say much, milady, but I will say this. I will say that in discharging the mandate that Kenyans have bestowed upon you, your biggest and most important task is to dispense justice. And as His Excellency the President committed to your ladyship at your swearing in last Friday morning, His Excellency and indeed the government is committed to working with you, to supporting you and the judiciary. And the expectation of all Kenyans is that the judiciary will dispense justice. And as I said last Friday, my lady, I would refer to the words of the Holy Quran, Surah ya sita aya 135. Because I know that your ladyship is a believer. And the words of the Holy Quran, which I commended to you and which I reiterate now with tremendous respect and humility, is that, O ye who believe, stand up firmly for justice as witnesses to Allah. Even if it is against yourself, my lady, the Honorable the Chief Justice, or your parents, or your brothers and sisters, or anybody in this room, stand up firmly for justice. For by doing so, the Almighty God who sees all, even our darkest secrets, He knows them. And having done so, my lady, having dispensed justice, in the words of St. Paul, writing to the Galatians, when you have opportunity, and your ladyship now has opportunity, a great constitutional moment of dispensing justice, do not ever be weary in doing good. Do not ever be weary in doing good. Do good to all people. Every single Kenyan, from all walks of life, wherever they may be, let them feel through your ladyship's leadership as the Honorable the Chief Justice of this nation, that they can get justice from our courts. That should be and must be your pledge. As the Honorable the Attorney General, the office and the Department of Justice, and I personally commit my total support in all things lawful as your ladyships walk this path. And may God be with you in all your rightful and righteous endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edith, for those kind words. I have apologies from the retired Chief Justice Emeritus, Dr. Willy Mutunga, who really was looking forward to being with us this morning, but he woke up not feeling well. He called me this morning and told me because of his age, he would prefer to see a doctor first. I also received a very moving apology from the Honorable Retired Chief Justice Chunga. He was touched that we remembered him and he would have liked to come, but he had traveled out of Nairobi. I recognize all the retired Chief Justices I honor you, all of you, Justice Vislam, Justice Lady Justice Arwoch, Lady Justice Efe Owuor, Lady Justice Angawa, Lady Justice Richard Kwach. You held our hand, you encouraged us, you launched our book, you even referred to yourself as an honorary woman. And when we came to court and we were struggling with my rende and my rond, you told us to refer to you as your ladyship. That really encouraged us. And in the House, we have the Honorable Mr. Justice David Malaga, the latest retirees. You all look very good, and I wish you, my Lord, to come here and tell us how it is to be in retirement. You make me envious of all of you because you are looking awesome. I'm wondering whether I should just opt into retirement. Please come and tell us something, Honorable Chief Justice Emeritus.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Justice, for this opportunity. I didn't expect it to be called to say anything. The Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, Justice Mother Karambu Koome, and all protocols observed, good afternoon. This is a great day. A great day, as very many other speakers have said, that we now have the first Chief Justice, a lady in Kenya. Just Owuor said it all, how excited the ladies are. But I know it as a fact, Justice Koome, that God gave us gifts. There are some gifts women have that men don't have. And the others men have that women don't have. One I know about, and I've said that over and over again, is that the ladies are able to multitask more than women. Let us accept that fact because it is there. Lady Justice Koome, you and I have come a long way. I know you. You have served this country in very many capacities. This is now an opportunity for you to serve as the Chief Justice. One thing I will tell you is that you go to a very demanding office, extremely demanding, but you are up to it. And as I said, I know you, you are a prayerful woman. When you pray, you will get things sorted out. The Deputy Chief Justice and all the other judges are pledged to support you. Council have pledged to support you. So there is really no worry whatsoever. You will be able to deliver. All you need to do is to cooperate with them, and you will deliver. One great important thing, Chief Justice, please keep reminding all of us, everybody, that constitutional power is constrained power, so that everybody keeps to his or her lane. We have a wonderful country. When you speak to foreigners, and sometimes they see the kind of things we do, they just marvel and say, look, I mean, how can you do this? You have a great nation, a great, great nation. Let us give Justice Koome the support she requires, and let us all do our part and we will move forward as a nation. Mine is to congratulate you heartily and wish you all the best. I have already called you before. I've sent you messages. I want to wish you all the best. I saw your family here. I saw your beloved husband, and I'm sure everybody will give you all the support that you require. May God bless you as you serve this great nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. We will continue to work together because this country is big enough for all of us. We also have very many distinguished friends of ours who came, and they came on very short notice, as it was explained. We did not want to come into the office and plan an occasion. Therefore, this was a very short notice. We have development partners. We are also grateful that you are able to come. Your Excellencies, we are very, very grateful. My speech will be very short because what I wanted to say has been said by many of the speakers who have spoken before me. And I want to say, since my nomination was announced, it was aptly described by many as a momentous occasion in the history of this country. And indeed it is, because this is one that assures every girl or boy, no matter their circumstances, that it is possible to keep dreaming, because Kenya is big enough for all of us, and she gives all people equal opportunities. This historic moment is a product of the opportunities afforded to me by Kenya and Kenyans. From my mother, Naomi Irangunto Rutere, to the retired judge of the Court of Appeal, the Honorable Mr. Justice Omoro, who recommended me after we sat for long hours at the GJ Rose, developing a blueprint for the reforms in the judiciary. He thought my passion and my cry for access to justice would find a place if I worked as a judge. I had never dreamt of being a judge, but he recommended me to the Judicial Service Commission, and I was appointed a judge, and I acknowledge my brother, Mr. Justice Omoro, for that. It is also the harvest of the seeds planted and nurtured by many women who have come before me with fasts. Allow me to name a few because I'm walking in their footsteps, beginning with Field Marshal Muthoni wa Kerema, who fought in the Land Freedom Army and was the only woman to be referred to as the Field Marshal. Priscilla Abwao, the only female member of the Legislative Council, who represented Kenya in the Lancaster House Conference. Grace Onyango, the first woman member of Parliament. Mrs. Nyiva Mwendwa, the first woman appointed as a cabinet minister. And of course, our very own, the retired Lady Justice Effie Owo, the first female magistrate, judge of the High Court and Court of Appeal, and many other unspoken and uncelebrated women who in their big and small spaces continue to break barriers and who have made the present for me become possible. The last 30 years of my life have been in service of the law. Beyond being a career, this has been a journey. I call it a calling, a privilege, and a life of commitment. I started off as an optimistic law student, juggling the roles of a young mother, a wife, and a student. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in law and gradually progressed to be a legal associate, and I'm proud to be associated with my pupil master, Mr. Wanjoki Mushemi, who is present in this room, putting my newfound knowledge to use in service of women first, who I found were disempowered, and learning how antiquated laws and delayed processes can further marginalize and entrench injustice. These lessons of disempowering of women stayed with me as I opened my own law firm and also joined hands with FINDA and others in pursuit of human rights for the most vulnerable. They would also inform my decision to defend those whose rights were infringed upon by the state during the one-party rule. As I argued cases for political detainees during the Moi era, I came to deeply appreciate the value of a judiciary that was impartial and free from influence and control of other actors. For how can an institution under the control of another be impartial and adjudicate fairly? For the scales of justice to function properly, there can be no undue influence. Not even a small stone or fingertip can be permitted to tip the scales. This belief, as well as the belief in human rights, the dignity and equality of every person, is what led me to lend my entire heart, my knowledge, and my soul, and I joined other Kenyans in the struggle for constitutional reform that would culminate in the Constitution of Kenya 2010. When I crossed the bar, moving from arguing cases before the bench to determining them on the bench, it was because I wanted to be part of the solution to the challenges in our justice system. That was almost 18 years ago, and in the judiciary I have found very committed colleagues. I have found an institution that has progressively made great strides in ensuring greater access to delivery of justice to Kenyans. Serving first in the Family Division of the High Court, then as a resident judge in Nakuru, Kitare High Court, and then Commercial Division of the High Court, the Environment and Land Court, and finally the Court of Appeal. I have learned that changing the nature of the system is within our reach. I am delighted to be taking over the leadership of the judiciary at a time when the momentum for transformation is on an upward trajectory. I have witnessed many dramatic changes in virtually all facets of the institution of the judiciary since I joined. I would like at this point to express my sincere gratitude to the retired Chief Justice, Dr. Willie Mutunga, whose blueprint, the Judiciary Transformation Framework, set the foundation for the fundamental changes we are enjoying today, and to the immediate former Chief Justice, David Maraga, working very closely with her leadership, the Deputy Chief Justice, who gallantly sustained Chief Justice Mutunga's transformation with many initiatives that focused heavily on service delivery. Through the efforts of my predecessors, we now have a judiciary that is more accessible to the people of Kenya, a corps of judicial officers and staff who are sufficiently equipped to perform their duties with pride and confidence. There is tremendous improvement in physical and other infrastructure that has extensively been improved. There are the necessary structures for cooperation and coordination to engage the stakeholders that have been put in place, such as the court users committees. During my interview, ladies and gentlemen, I shared my vision of the judiciary that is independent, efficient, accessible, and responsive to the aspirations of Kenyans and a true guardian of the rule of law. My team will build working relations with other actors in the administration of justice to reach our court users and other parties with a view of building their capacity with knowledge that will empower them to bear their own agency and to become champions for justice. When everybody becomes an agent and champion for justice, I believe this country will start looking for our own indigenous solutions that lead to reconciliation and peace. Moreover, many will avoid violence conflict, and other pitfalls or black spots that lead to endless court cases. To achieve this shared vision, one of my priorities, with your support, ladies and gentlemen, my dear colleagues, is building an efficient institution. I would like to round the judicial officers and staff who have developed a culture of innovation and inclusion in an operating environment with adequate resources in an effort to serve Kenyans to whom we are all beholden. This has meant judges, magistrates, caddies, and tribunal members working under enormous case rules with outdated bonds available to them to deliver timely, efficient judgments. We are still grappling with unacceptably high levels of case backlog, despite the efforts of the last 10 years that had significantly reduced the number of old cases. Chief Justice Emeritus David Malaga's tenure focused on all courts concluding all cases that were 5 years old and above. We will continue that trajectory and ensure that at any given time, no case should be in the justice system for longer than 3 years. This is a target that is possible to achieve if we all embrace a case management system and the multi-door approaches that are now available to us, such as the court users committees, court annex mediation, small claims courts, and alternative dispute systems. Embracing the use of technology as a primary tool in our work has been a key focus area of transformation. When I look back at the past 1 year, I'm reminded of the truth that even in the darkest of human experience, there can be a bright side to it. When the COVID-19 global pandemic paralyzed judicial activities across the country early last year, it became necessary to expedite the adoption of technology, and we will continue to mainstream its use in our work, starting with the expansion of the electronic filing service and other ICT initiatives. In the world we live today, technology is the great enabler without which we cannot achieve our core service delivery objectives. To achieve this shared vision, the second area I request for your support is in improving access to justice. We are yet to achieve our constitutional commitment of establishing a high court station in every county. And I'm happy the Speaker is here and our Governor. And a magistrates court in each of the 290 sub-districts. In some parts of the country, our people still have to travel for days on end to access the nearest court. We should always be conscious of the plight of the parties who come to court. Let us seek to understand what it takes for a party to appear in our courts, be they litigants, witnesses, or advocates. We all know too well that for some parties to find their way in our courts, they have made far-reaching sacrifices. Maybe to be able to come to court and to file a case, one has sold their only possession, be it the only livestock, a goat or a cow, to file a case or to find bus fare to attend court, or even to pay a lawyer to represent them. We should always be aware of their vulnerabilities and frustrations. And this goes also for the big commercial conglomerates when they are involved in disputes. Small kiosk owners, peasant farmers, or victims of crimes, they all bear the burden of anxieties that are attendant to long periods of waiting for justice. A decade after promulgation, it is imperative that we expedite some of the promises of the 2010 Constitution so that Kenyans can realize the benefits. As an institution that generates almost 3 billion shillings annually, this revenue can be an important first step in addressing some of the challenges we currently face. I wish to note that the Judiciary Fund, which is established under Article 173 of the Constitution, is yet to be operationalized. We will continue to build the case for additional funding and a sustainable budget for these investments and judiciary functions based on our track record and needs of Kenyans. My role is to advocate for the resources to ensure that the structures needed are physically present at every court station so that every player can enjoy the fruits of this system. Additionally, I will champion for resources to revamp our data registry and technology system. Having served as the chair of the NCAJ Special Task Force on Children Matters, I understand too well the importance of the NCAJ in providing collaboration and coordination of the justice sector. I have spoken about the importance of a registration to anchor NCAJ in a statute that creates a structured mechanism for the cooperation and coordination among interbranch actors involved in the justice chain. I look forward to working with the National Assembly and indeed all stakeholders to help us develop systems and mechanisms that facilitates greater efficiencies along the justice chain and especially between the arms of government. I also want to recognize and applaud our development partners, such as the World Bank, the Ford Foundation, UNDP, UNHCR, IDLO, UNODC, the U.S. Department for Justice, among others, and we are grateful for their continued support. We pledge to continue to be prudent in the use of resources and to seek greater efficiencies to ensure value for money. With our independent fund in place, we can leverage resources from our partners interested in the administration of justice to respond to the needs of Kenyans. All coins, ladies and gentlemen, have two sides, and as I celebrate the tenacity and hard work of some of our officers and staff, I cannot be blind to those whose actions bring all of us down. I recognize corruption is endemic and problematic in two main ways. First, there are many corruption cases that are pending in our courts, and this has largely lowered the perception of the judiciary. And in this regard, the judiciary, which happens to be at the end of the chain link of justice, is regarded as the parking lot of corruption cases. Secondly, even though there are some structures for curbing corruption, such as the establishment of the Office of the Ombudsman, we have not succeeded to effectively deal with these cases. As noted by Chief Justice Mutunga in one of his addresses in 2016, he stated that the judiciary was under capture by agencies, and he named many. He said not only the government, not only the politicians, there is also the private sector, there is the civil society, there are ethnic cocoons, and there are also family members he named as people who are trying to capture the judiciary. This continues to be an active threat to the independence of the judiciary. My dear colleagues, the oath of office that I took so as to qualify to assume the office of the Chief Justice is not different from that which was taken by all of us, judges, magistrates, cadis, and members of the tribunals. No wonder in his after speech, after witnessing my signature, His Excellency the President was compelled to recite these profound words, reminding us we have to be impartial, we have to be independent, we have to be fair. Power to protect the Constitution vests to us, given by the people of Kenya, to render service with integrity and competency, among other things. These words should never depart our hearts, and the fact that the power to exercise that authority is donated to us by the people of Kenya. We should strive to be fair and expeditious in our work. We are servants of the people. One area we should all guard is the independence of the judiciary. And this takes me to the tenure of the Chief Justice Simbi Mandan. He described the role of a judge in the following words, which we repeat often. A judge is a judge, whether he is newly appointed or an old fogey. The former has the benefit of his latest learning, the latter the advantage of experience. Both are people of honor and scholarly. Both are conscientious and judicious individuals, imbued with reason. Both are dependable and do not make wild surmises. Both act upon consecrated principles. Both get a fair share of juristic skills. Both are jealously scrupulous and impartial. Both are 24-karat gold. Both act free from doubt, bias, and prejudice. Both speak no ill of any litigant. Both are torchbearers for stability of society. Both are strugglers for liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenges we are facing today about independence and impartiality of the judiciary is an old hat. These words were delivered in a judgment at a time when judicial courage was and decisional independence were rare. They continue to guide us today as we consolidate the gains achieved under our new constitutional dispensation. Justice Mandan set a high standard which we can achieve first as Kenyans and secondly as judges, judicial officers, cadis, and members of tribunals. Thankfully for us, judicial independence is anchored and ring-fenced in the Constitution. It behoves on every judge, every judicial officer to decline any invitation to rule on any case based on bias or ill will. Brother and sister judges and judicial officers, cadis, let us stick to the rule of law. Let us do that which the Constitution, the law, and our oath of office tells us to do. It tells us not to decide cases based on the direction of any party or authority. I also wish to assure you, colleagues, that we will respect and enforce the decisional independence of individual judges and magistrates. But we will also strive to ensure that all those who walk down the corridors of our courts will go home feeling that justice has been their shield and defender. While we will guard this independence jealously, we are equally aware that we are accountable. In the delivery of justice, we work with other arms of government and stakeholders. We are conscious that alone as the judiciary, we cannot succeed in delivery of services. My vision of the judiciary is that one that will constructively engage with the other arms of government for the mutual benefit of Kenyans. I see a judiciary which will be a leader in accountability and integrity. In my courts, I'm well known for regularly saying, let me conclude this matter. This is the same attitude and energy that I bring to the office of the Chief Justice. Let us conclude this matter. If there are cases to be heard, let us conclude them. If there are problems to be solved, let us resolve them. If there are barriers to overcome, let us overcome them. If there are changes to be made, let us make them. I invite you all to join me in this journey so that together we can move the judiciary and our country to a better, more secure future. I thank you all for listening. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Thank you very much.
Thank you. National anthem.
Let us remain upstanding as the Chief Registrar lowers the mace. Thank you very much. That marks the official end of our program. Let us take our seats so that we can give further directions on how we are going to undertake the photo session. We shall have a few photo sessions at the steps of the Supreme Court, and I would like us to remain seated so that we do it in a very orderly and quick fashion.
No purita we ni ukoragwo muiritu mugi ungihota atia gwika uguo tira
we urenda gucamania na karani ningo gigutwara
Lishabu mwendwa ona ni nguthi
acha tiwe Karina
kabaita ngiracamanirie nake ndiraigwa ndina ruo ruingi na ngenda kwirihiria no hena mwihoko
mahinda ma family ukireherwo ni festive bread
we niki urathondeka
riu nie kuruga pilau abui nendete
riu ni reciria riega ruga icio no ndukariganirwo ni gathubu ni igongona riega tutiagirwo ni kwaga thubu
niguo nituthondeke thubu kuoya mugate uria muruge wega metha yakwa ndiraihura mututu miena-ini ti miumu mwana no ahote kuria mugate wega
wena sama
eni no yoge mugate uyu muruge wega wi bakuri-ini ya A ni festive bread weoere waku umuthi
na beto mene kamaita maigana na beriku Hati karubeta nitwatira waigua karubeta ukamenya ni top care trawire tukuhuha karubeta nure maundu memega ataka ni maundu kwagira turenda andu matuike maladi road guku turi naguo thogora ri tuthiite thi nginyagia thogora wa 495 ngiri magana 95 tu Buroti ici cie Juja Farm ritho-ini urukuma shopping center na neighbors durakana makinyire tene nacio buroti ici inyitanite te magego na thukuru ino ya St Michael Catholic
na tukumuona ku tucerere Royal Town Greek Towers kana tuhurire thimu namba 0748 705 405
cia mwanya ni unyitaniri wa kumitambo-ini ya Inoro TV na igongona ria korwo rigithira ria mucirithania munene Martha Koome uria urikitie kwamukira cabi cia ofici yake njeru ni wega ngorwo ngikuririkania ati agitugirio ni undu wa uhotani ucio wake Koome ni akorwo akirwo ati gibarua giake kinene ni gukorwo ati agitigirira wiathi wa ruhonge rwa igoti ni wehanda na hindi ciothe thabari ya gukinyira kihoto ni athamaka ruhonge ruru ihinda-ini riu mucirithania Daniel Musinga ni athuritwo ta president wa igoti ria gucokia cira riko akihoria ithenya ria William Ouko uria utonyete igoti-ini itugiru ni wega ngorwo ngikwira ati riu riuma igongona na mbica icio urona ni igongona riu ria nä mbica cia hau gabere rä rä a Martha Koome ekwamũkagĩra cabi cia obici yake. Nĩ wega ngorwo ngĩkũririkania atĩ Martha Koome nĩwe mũcirithania kana mũrũgamĩrĩri wa igoti tũgĩru wa mbere arĩ mũtumia kuma Kenya eheo wĩyathi kana independence. Na hau gabere kiumia gĩthuru mũthenya wa Juma Martha Koome nĩ akorirwo akĩamũkĩra kana akinywa muma ya wĩra wake. Nĩ aheirwo muma wa wĩra wake kiumia kĩthuru, na ũmũthĩ nĩrĩo mũcirithania mũnene ũcio Martha Koome ekwamũkagĩra cabi cia obici yake. Nĩ tũgũthiĩ na mbere gũkũnengera maingĩ megiĩ Martha Koome thĩinĩ wa Inoro hwaĩ-inĩ mathaa mau mangĩ. No mbica icio ũrona gwa ithaa rĩrĩ nĩ igongona rĩa kwamũkĩra cabi cia obici yake. Martha akoretwo akĩruta wĩra ũyũ kwa mĩaka 33. Na tũgĩthiĩ na mbere tũthiĩ kaunti ya Nyandarua kũrĩa gĩkundi kĩa ateti na athomi kaunti-inĩ ya Nyandarua nĩkĩyumĩrĩtie na kwĩnyĩrĩria atĩ thirikari ya kaunti ĩno hamwe na mbunge ya Nyandarua matirĩ na wĩigĩrĩrĩki magĩrĩirwo nĩ gũkorwo na wĩigĩrĩrĩki mbeca-inĩ cia mũingĩ. Gĩkundi gĩkĩ kiugĩte atĩ ona thengia wa gũkorwo kaunti ĩno nĩ yamũkĩrire mbeca cia mũigana mũnene kuma kwĩ thirikari nene, gĩcunjĩ kĩnene kĩa mbeca ici kĩaya gũkorwo nĩ kiungumĩtio. Ĩndĩ ũtongoria wa Nyandarua ũkĩnyũrũria thitango ici ugĩte atĩ ũthuthuria maita karũndo ũrĩa ũtabanĩtio mabuku-inĩ ma kaunti ĩno wonanĩtie atĩ gũtirĩ ungumania wĩkĩtwo.
Ngwatanĩro ĩno ya mũng'ethanĩro yũmbĩtwo nĩ ateti, athomi oro hamwe na ateteri a ihoto cia mũingĩ arĩa makoretwo magĩthangania mũrutĩre wa wĩra wa thirikari ya Nyandarua oro hamwe na mbunge ya kaunti ĩno. Matongoretio nĩ ũrĩa warĩ mũnini wa gavana wa Ithaka wa Kĩrĩka, mũteti Moses Kĩariĩ na mũteti ndagĩtarĩ Simon Kanyingĩ. Atongoria aya marenda honge itiganĩte cia ũthuthuria cimũrĩke nyũmba ici cierĩ nĩguo kũmenya wega ũrĩa mabilioni ma mbeca maungumĩtio.
Kwĩ mbeca ciaheanĩtwo nĩ World Bank nĩgetha taũni citũ ta Karaũ, Mairo Inya, Injinia, Njabi-inĩ ciĩkĩrwo sewage na garbage collection ĩkorwo gĩthiĩ wega, na mbeca cio nĩ ciarĩkirie kũiywo na njĩra nene na World Bank nĩ ĩrakanjire tende ĩyo tũtigũcoka kũheo mbeca. Rĩu nĩ mwatoimwo mbeca nĩ ũndũ wa mũndũ ũyũ, nĩ ũndũ wa mũndũ ũmwe.
Makĩaria na andĩki a mohoro taũni-inĩ ya Karaũ, gĩkundi gĩkĩ kĩrauga atĩ thirikari ya gavana Kĩmemia nĩ ĩcukĩirwo ũhũthĩri mũru wa mbeca cia mũingĩ, ũndũ ũrĩa ona mbunge ĩremetwo nĩ kũũria ciũria, na rĩu marenda honge cia ũthuthuria iria nĩ hamwe na komishoni ya kũrũa na ungumania, wabici ya thitango cia mũingĩ na rũhonge rwa ũthuthuria cihanyũke kwenjera ũrĩa kĩgĩna kĩa mũingĩ kĩhũthĩrĩtwo. Gĩkundi gĩkĩ gĩkiuga atĩ gĩcunjĩ kĩnene kĩa mbeca ici nĩ kiungumĩtio ona kana kũhũthĩrwo ũru.
Thibitarĩ citũ itirĩ ndawa, barabara citũ ti thondeke tondũ mbeca citũ nĩ ciarĩirwo, na message ĩkoretwo ĩkiuma kũrĩ andũ aitũ thĩinĩ wa EACC wa DCI. kwĩna ripoti ĩtũmĩtwo nĩ andũ moimĩte Nyandarua na ciĩho nĩ ironeka.
Mateta mao mokĩte thikũ inya tu thutha wa komishoni ya kũrũa na ungumania kũhithũkĩra wabici cia kaunti ĩno na gũkua kĩhũba kĩa maratathi. EACC ĩrathuthuria ũrĩa makĩria ma ciringi mirioni 50 ciahũthĩrirwo kũrĩ mwaka-inĩ wa 2018 gũgĩtuĩka nĩ ciahũthĩkire hĩndĩ ya kĩgomano kĩa aigithia kĩrĩa gĩatabanĩirio taũni-inĩ ya Karaũ.
Atĩ nĩ kũrĩ ciringi mirioni 14 na gaturuma 4 ciarĩhirwo gũgĩtua kwĩna investors conference. Kinyona mũndũ warĩ master of ceremony nĩ arĩhirwo mbia ciake cia investors conference na ndĩekirwo na kinya master of ceremony nĩ mũrĩhe investors conference.
No gĩkundi gĩkĩ kiugĩte ũyũ no mũhiano ũmwe gatagatĩ ka aingĩ meingĩ ĩrĩa thirikari ya kaunti ĩno ĩracukĩrwo kungumia.
Gavana tũra igoti-inĩ agĩthitanga andũ a Nyandarua, andũ a Nyandarua no ngĩ nĩ marathitanga. Rĩu mbeca citũ irĩ hũthĩkaga na magoti, ũkaigua mara meigoti-inĩ na Ikuru, meigoti-inĩ na Nairobi. Nĩ tũrenda kũũria mbeca citũ nĩ ihũthĩke gũteithia andũ, itie kũhũthĩka magoti-inĩ.
Oho marenda MCA a mbunge ya Nyandarua mathuthurio na kinyi itemi-inĩ rĩa kũmenya mũigana wa ũtonga wao magĩkwo andũ ratwarana na mĩcara ĩrĩa maheagwo.
Tũtingĩena overnight millionaires, na nĩ tũramenya atĩ
tenda ciothe cia ward ino mareta ward fund maheo about 50 million the nio marehe. They are doing what we call nio mena kindu gitagwo, how do you call it, proxies. They are working through the proxy na tio mwe na tieri.
No ona gukire uguo Gavana Kimemia ni eteteirie akiuga ati gutire mundu uhingiriirie murango kumenya wega uria mbeca cia muingi ikoretwo ikihuthirwo, akiuga uyu ni uteti urahurwo na ndugakorwo na uguni hari muingi wa Nyandarua.
Kiria ngumoria ni matige kumisuse Wanjiku ati mbeca ni cietwo na no nyende mathie ma follow up the due process. Wambere thini wa procurement na ni moi ni tenda ciekagwo igathii ikafurutwo andu ma compete mundu kuria karia na mundu tawikatia ekuo issue cia uthie kugerera kawaru ati mbeca ni ciiritwo kana guthie kurehe pressure ndirona ta kwagiriire.
Giribotera Inooro TV kuma tauni-ini ya Olkalau kaunti-ini ya Nyandarua, njĩtagwo Peter Mwangi.
Ngatho cia mwanya Peter Mwangi. Na kuma mwena ucio wa Nyandarua tuthie kaunti ya Nyeri kuria kambuni ya utambia wa maguta KPC